Hi, it's Jnwynn with Scraptastic Yarns Podcast. Today is March the 12th. It's Tuesday. I think you can see that I'm surrounded by a little bit of mess, but I'm going to tell you what I've been doing. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Those of you that have stuck with me for so long, I really appreciate you sticking with this crazy gal here. But I have been going through things throughout my house. We've been gathering things to take to Goodwill, things that we don't use anymore, those kind of things. And so things are a little scattered here and there in order to get one section of the house cleaned up, cleared, whatnot. So yeah, my house right now is just a total disaster area. My husband is off for spring break. That's good news and bad news. I had made mention that I would like to get rid of the kitchen table for about the past 5 years. We do not sit at the kitchen table to eat dinner because 2 of the 4 chairs are not safe to sit on. And it has become a gathering place for us to just toss stuff that we don't know where to put. We're just too lazy to put it away. So we have started clearing off the table. The table is going to leave. And yeah, that's been interesting. While I was doing that, found 2 bags of yarn. Each of them had 4 skeins of yarn in them. Yeah. That table has been so bad in the past. I'm going to tell you this story. We had gone to the grocery store and I'd gotten onions, and we have a hanging basket. For some reason, I didn't put them in the hanging basket. And I thought, I went to look for them to use them, and I couldn't find them. And I thought, maybe I already used them. Well, I have a friend that is a reporter, was a reporter. She's retired now and recently remarried. Was a reporter for our local newspaper. We have been in writing groups together, and she also taught at the university, one of the journalism classes. A couple of years ago, with this onion, I found it eventually. It was still in the bag from the produce area, but it had started sprouting. And I had posted a picture of it on Facebook, joking with my friends. There's that damn onion I was looking for. Well, she had sent me this, this little message. Do I need to do an intervention? Do I need to call hoarders? And I've always joked, with the amount of yarn that I have in this house, I am just one tote away from being on an episode of Hoarders, to which my son has said, well, at least yarn doesn't weigh much. So, this table has been a sore spot in my side for a long time. So we're clearing it off, and in the meantime, I had found 8 total skeins of yarn. So that got put away into totes, into the areas that they needed to go into. And yeah, it's crazy when you start going through stuff to get rid of things that you've had that you don't use. And I know we all have them. I have this this pot that's a microwavable pressure cooker. I've never even used it. I've had it for 4 years. Now, granted, I got it at a garage sale for $1, but still, I've never used it even. And for some reason at that garage sale, I was like, oh, microwave pressure cooker, cool. Never used it. I'm going to show you what I've been up to besides cleaning off that table and going through things through the house. I've been caking up all my odds and ends, really small balls. But other than that, I have been caking up balls like crazy. That's what I was doing yesterday in amongst cleaning. So, yeah, I was doing that. And I got some happy mail. Now, let's discuss the mail. My husband, yesterday afternoon, went to the university because he has an online class that he videotapes for. So he needed to videotape for the next 2 weeks worth of classes. So he was doing that yesterday afternoon. And when he comes home, he always checks the mail. What is it with men who don't follow through? He knows he has to look at the front door. He comes in the back door. Now, he didn't look at the mail on the front door. He didn't even see the boxes. Now, the only reason I knew I had something is because Nick Crate had been delivered and I got the email. But also the box from Cheryl Boltz was there. These are big boxes. And you could see them from the mailbox. If he just looked, just went like that. Yeah, man. So anyway, we're going to go with the Nick Crate first because it is the smallest box and the easiest to manage. And of course everyone got the same thing. We've got little Eastery paper this time. And of course this is the Knitology, 75% merino wool, 15% silk, 10% cashmere, and it is a fingering weight. You get 400 yards. And it's got that pretty yellow and the brown and the lavender gray to the yellow to the dark blue. It is gorgeous. And it's called titmouse. If you've ever seen the bird titmouse, this accurately represents the bird. Accurately. Because it has all these beautiful colors in it. And we generally have titmouse that comes to the back door. My husband sets out feed for the animals. So we do have titmouse, cardinals, blue jays, robins, chickadees, all kinds of birds that come back there. And it's fascinating to watch when they come to feed. And of course we also have the squirrels. And the squirrels are funny. And the chipmunks. Chipmunks are hilarious. And then, of course, you get the bag, canvas bag, very nice zippered bag. And the usual magazine, you know, with all the different items. Supposedly there are supposed to be two knit and 2 crochet items in here. And there's a picture of the actual titmouse right here. So you can see all those colors are accurately represented in that. And yeah, it's very pretty. There is Birdseed, which is a knitted hat. And then there is the knitting bonus, which is the set here. But you would actually have to go, I believe, get a second yeah, you would need 2 skeins for that, so you'd have to go purchase an additional one. This is the crochet item. It is called Solanelle. It is a shawlette, I believe. It says shawl. And you use a G and an E hook. It's pretty. And then the crochet bonus is the honeycomb shawl, which I really like that one. But of course, I believe you have to have 2 skeins. Yes, you have to have 2 skeins for that. And they're charging $32 for the skein, so I don't think I'll be getting a second skein. Maybe when they do the double down. But then everybody else is going to do it too. These are the pop-up shop patterns. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? They're both beautiful. And of course, this is next month's theme. So, there's the knit crate. I'm going to go ahead and do the boxing. I've opened up the boxes and gone through them. But I'll move this back a little bit and you're going to get to see more of the chaos in this room. Sorry about that. Petra's box came, and in with it, you know, I'd won that, and I didn't realize I had won it, so she sent a lovely little note. Thank you. And basically, it's an adorable little note. Just looking forward to getting to know us. But I'm hoping you can see, she had talked about her stamp that she got from rubberstamp.com, and it does have a lot of detail in it. She had stamped that. That is with her Foxy Creation stamp that she created. It's a beautiful stamp. So, yeah, if you're looking for stamps, for logos, for just any kind of stamp you want to create, definitely go check out the rubberstamp.com. Now, I admitted last podcast that I couldn't remember what was in this box. I feel so bad about that picture. But this was the reason that I had entered it, was because of this yarn, the baby blanket, Bernat baby blanket. In my area, they did not have this yet. And, oh, folks, it is so soft and squishy. And this is the dungaree colorway. This is Hush Pink. And then this is I believe this is the elephant colorway. It is a gray. And then there is the brown bear colorway. And it's a soft chocolate brown, I would call it. Now, I'm not going to open these up, mainly because Petra has already shown these, but there are 2 of the Brene Pops. Well, there's 4 in here, 2 different colorways. 2 of them are the birch bark and blue, and then there are 2 that are the foggy notion. And I did leave those bagged up because it is taped, and I don't want to open it up yet. I've got to get it up into the tote. I have a tote that I am putting things into, so. And yes, you will see that when I do my flash my stash, because yes, I do inventory. And the reason I inventory is because of how much yarn I have. I have to know what I need, what I have, you know. And of course, there were the little hamburger and fries, hot dogs, and ice cream. And she had split those up, and then there are 2 beautiful, and I use a lot of buttons. I like to put buttons on the baby hats when we send them off to the nursery. And I also use a lot of my lace and different things like that to make little florets I guess that's what you call them. Put a button in the center and put them on the hats. And this is beautiful. This is landscape, soft and shiny. I've not seen this in my local Michaels. But I think this is softer than the Karen. I mean, I might be wrong, but I believe it is. And then there is the premium neutral natural variegations with the browns and the tan. And a lot of men's hats with that one. And I believe there are 2 of those with the brown. Oh, my tweed label came right off of there. And then there is the Karen Simply Soft with the tweed. Soft tweeds. And this one I like a lot. I've used this quite often for hats. And then she had included a set of crochet hooks and DPNs. And I can use both of those, trust me. But here was the best part. All of these. I have been looking through these, and I know there's quite a few I have not seen in my area. And lots of times when they have these up, they go quickly in my area. So this to me is one of the best things about this. Now I'm going to move this back. Don't be afraid by the chaos. So I can get this box out of the way. Because I have another box. And I think you can see how big this box is. And here is my second box. This box, see how big it is. Husband couldn't see it on the front porch. Now, it wasn't even close up to the door because our mailman, for some reason, has gotten awful lazy this week. We had a package that was supposed to come Thursday, and by Friday it still wasn't here, although Friday, when my husband checked on the tracking, it said it had been left in the mailbox. Our mailbox opening is like this, and maybe this big. The package was like this big, and that wide. There's no way it fit in the mailbox. And my husband was pretty livid because, you know, this was a pretty expensive purchase. Still wasn't here. So he was asking his friends, and he's got a couple of friends. He's a gamer. Final Fantasy. So he's asking a couple of his friends, and some of them are postal workers, and basically they told him that they have been told, because of the contract with Amazon, that they need to, on the day that it's supposed to be delivered, even if they don't get it delivered, they need to mark that it was delivered, or it couldn't be delivered because it didn't have access to the mailbox or whatever. Basically, they were told to lie, and some of them do go ahead and just mark it so they don't get in trouble with Amazon. And, you know, I don't think that's right, but Saturday, our mailman determined that they were going to deliver all the mail. And our package was leaning up against the door because, you know, it won't fit in the mailbox. And I'm walking down, and there are 12 units in this apartment complex. We have a center sidewalk, and then the sidewalks that lead up to our apartments. In one of the sidewalks, there was a box about like this, that tall. It was in the middle of that sidewalk. They didn't even get it to the door. It's like he just dropped it. Crazy. So anyway, my husband couldn't see this big old box. Man. Now I know what this box is full, and I knew what it was. It is sachet yarn. And there are quite a few packages. There are two of this one, which is, it's called Platinum. Sorry about the crinkle. No, there's more than two Platinum. There are 4 Platinum with an additional skein. No, there are 5 Platinum. There is one of the Conga, which is a real pretty kind of greens, I would call it like camo colors. There are 2 of the aquamarine, very beautiful blue. Get the envelope out. There is one of diamonds, and this one is it's got silver, like grays, and then a black, and it's got a nice little shimmer to it. These all have shimmer. And this one is icy, and it's a lighter blue. Now, you're going to say, what the heck are you going to do with all that? If you have seen my page at Facebook, Scraptastic Yarns, you have seen the picture I have posted of a shawl that I made with this. I have the note somewhere of the shawl that I made. I had put it in my county fair, the shawl. And it took a first because people just couldn't believe that it was made with the sachet yarn. At that time, sorry about the dumping and moving you around. At that time, everyone was just making the ruffle yarn scarves with them, or using them like around the bottom of dresses, kind of shirts, skirts for dolls, which is another way you can use that. And I had decided I wanted to try to make a shawl because, I mean, you have a way to connect. Surely you could make something. So I had made a shawl, and that picture is in the Scraptastic Yarns podcast Facebook group. I had posted it, and it's a very old picture. It's one with me with my Coke bottle glasses and short hair, wearing the shawl. And I thought I would get the note out. Maybe. For some reason I'm having trouble. It's like I'm unable to do things. Anyway, Cheryl had sent a note and she said, can't wait to see how you use the sachets. So very grateful I met you and we became friends. I just adore you. Your friend always, Cheryl. And it was a little messed up. And she said, sorry for the last part. Oliver jumped on me. That's okay, Oliver, because I love Oliver. So she sent these stitch markers that are with the different letters of the hook sizes, and they're absolutely adorable. And she saved me a little bit of time because I was thinking about making some of these because I found a project and I don't know what size hook I used. So now I already have some that I can put on those projects that I have right here to my side. I do use a lot of eye hooks, so I will be making some more of the eye for me. But I just hadn't got around to it because, you know, going through stuff, cleaning out the house, getting things put away, that kind of thing. And finished objects. I have 2. And that is all. This is something I had started quite a while ago, knit hat, and I just hadn't got it finished, so I did get it finished. And then, of course, I did another one of the, this one I knit on the needles. I told you about my little friend who I bought the Eeyore head for, that she makes our pom-poms. Look at that. And we tease her about her pom-poms because, you know, those of us that have made pom-poms for years, many times we just wrap, don't think about it. She measures them out. They have to be just length, doubles it. She's very perfectionist, but she takes her pom-pom job very seriously for us. So she does a lot of pom-poms. I do have 2 projects that I'm working on, and this is a test crochet for Lori Lulu 327. Go look at her. I'm going to link down the video where she talks about the persuasion shawl. This one is done in DK, but I'm also doing one because I always do this with these, you know, things. I'm doing one in a regular worsted weight with a acrylic yarn that I can give to the prayer shawl. That one I'm using a J hook. This pattern calls for an H hook. I do have gauge on this, so I am continuing to work on that. It's working out really nice. And Lori has done hers in 2 colors, a navy and a mauve. And then I believe she did, she revamped it and she used, I want to say, a gray color with mauve, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but I'll link down the video down below where she does that. The other project that I have been working on is the shawl that is by my Pico, but Jonah Martinez did a YouTube tutorial on it. And I'm using Candy Shop. And the color that I'm using is, oh boy, talk about small print. I believe it says Cool Mint. Let me put my readers on so I can see. Cool Mint. That is the color of this Candy Shop. Now, when AC Moore had this on sale, it was 3 for $9. I had no intentions of getting yarn. Because I'm trying not to buy any additional yarn other than my knit crate. But it was on sale. My husband was looking for a certain type of paint for the projects that he is working on, and how do I want to describe this? He takes cardboard, paint, and makes topographic maps that are accurate, and it is the same way a lot of people can make dioramas or small D&D figures that a lot of people purchase. I mean, it's amazing what my husband has done. And a topographic map is one that is raised, you know, in areas like when there's mountainside, you'll have this raised. So he is creating those with yarn, glue, cardboard, those kind of things, and paint. So, and they're amazing, and he's really good at it. So, I told him, you know, I have an Etsy shop. I'll be more than glad to sell those things for you if you'd like. But we were walking through, and he said to me, I thought you weren't going to buy any, we weren't going to buy any yarn. I said, we aren't, but you're buying this for me. They only had 2 of these. So this is going to be a smaller shawl. Normally I would probably use 3, because with the prayer shawl there is a need for larger shawls as well, and we don't always have a lot of people that make larger shawls, so I tend to make larger shawls for those folks. That is it for today, other than the what in tarnation and a small shout out. And I am going to tell you a story about my past cat. Our cat Kaylin passed away quite a few years ago around Thanksgiving. But this cat, Thomas, my husband, was her human. She just tolerated me. There was a period where she had gotten fatty liver disease. We had had her at the vet, and they had a gastric tube into her, and when they put the tube in, it goes in the side of the neck on animals instead of in the stomach area, where normally that's where we do humans. Well, we had told them that she doesn't eat a lot. She eats small amounts, but they were giving her a full can of Science Diet, high protein, to try to get her to where she was eating, because she wasn't eating anything. And when you get fatty liver disease, you get sick to your stomach, you don't want to eat, those kind of things. So they had fed her through the tube, and several times everything came up, and in the process of everything coming up, the tube started to come out. And they had told us at that time that there was nothing more that they could do for her because they couldn't get the tube to stay in, and she wasn't keeping things down. So they had pulled the gastric tube, and it had gotten infected while she was at the vet's, and which it happens. I mean, you know, it's hard to keep things clean when cats tossing things up and everything. So there were 2 jobs that we had to do with this cat. Now, my husband used to work in a pet store, and when the baby birds would come in, he was the one that was tasked with force feeding the baby birds to get them used to eating, because sometimes pet stores get the birds when they're too young and they don't know to eat on their own, so you have to teach them, you have to feed them just like the mother bird would. And so my husband did that with the baby birds. We looked into fatty liver disease in cats, did a lot of research, and found that we needed to force feed Caitlin. So it took 2 of us to feed her, because we had to catch her first, and then we would wrap a towel around her so that she couldn't scratch either one of us. My job, there were 2 jobs I had. Thomas would hold her while I was doing this. I had to drain that abscess on her neck because my husband it just broke his heart that, because he knew it was going to hurt. So I would drain it and dress it, and then we would trade off. He would hand me Caitlin. I would hold her and pet her while he was force feeding her. And by doing that, you had to have a syringe with food that is soft enough to go through the syringe so that you can force it down into the cat's throat. So we're holding her. You have to hold the chin. And this is something we used to do with the NICU babies. When they don't know how to suckle, you do a motion like this under the chin while they are suckling so that it does something with the tongue so that you just automatically start to move your tongue the way you would when you're eating. So we would do that with Caitlin to get the food down in her. And we would give her 20 cc's full of food about every 2.5 hours so that she was getting enough nutrition. Now, if you have never force-fed a cat, it's an interesting concept because the cat is growling the entire time. Cats growl not only when they're upset, but when they are very emotional. But she would be growling, and we would be putting the food in and doing the little chin support, and she would be going nom 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 at the same time she was growling. So it was kind of, a funny concept. So we got her through that, and she lived for another 5 years. But this cat, when my blood sugars were low, she normally would get into bed with us, and she would get between me and my husband. My husband sleeps to my left. And her normal procedure was to start stretching her paws out like this, front and back, to push Mommy out of bed so she could have Daddy all to herself. But when my blood sugars were low, she would walk along the one side that I was laying, because I normally lay on my right side. She'd walk in front of me, and she would meow in my ear. And this was when my blood sugars were extremely low. She would meow in my ear, and if that didn't wake me, she would lick my eyelashes so that I would wake up. And there was one time I wasn't quite with it, and she had jumped over me onto my husband's face, and I'd gotten him awake, and I keep juice by the side of the bed so we could get the juice down in me. But she was very good about that. Now that she is gone, you may think I'm crazy, but she still visits us. And there are times when my blood sugar's gone low, and she wakes me up. So, cats, dogs are amazing critters. Why do I tell you this story? Because now we're in What in Tarnation. And I just have one What in Tarnation for you. And this is about a cat in Volusia County. I guess it's outside of Miami. A Central Florida couple is crediting Bella for saving their lives. Bella is not their daughter or their dog. She is their cat. Paul and Leona Jones say that when they got home from eating dinner on February the 27th, they just wanted to get inside out of the rain. In their haste, they forgot to push the off button on their car. These newer cars, a lot of them have just a start button. You press that button to turn it off. All you have to have is your key in the vicinity of the car. Anyway, it sat in the garage all night, emitting carbon monoxide, silently poisoning the entire house. At around 1 a.m., Bella started crying and woke them up. Weak from inhaling so much carbon monoxide, Leona was barely able to call 911. Firefighters administered oxygen to the couple and Bella, then took them to the hospital. If she hadn't cried and hadn't woken him up, we would have never known and we would have slept through it. And Leona adding, and never woken up. The couple has since put up great big reminder signs in the garage to turn off the car and installed carbon monoxide detectors. Good job. As for Bella, she's getting plenty of extra treats. So, they talk about, I know in one of the nursing homes there was a cat that would go around and sit with the patients that were about to die, and they knew the patient was going to die because this cat would get into the room and stay with them. And so it gave a lot of hospital personnel hospital nursing home personnel at that point time to call family members and tell them that the family's time was near. They wanted to come say their goodbyes or say anything they needed to the family member before passing. They'd have time. So, cats, dogs, we always laugh about how they have humanistic features, but they are very great partners for us all. I know many dogs are service dogs. I have taken quite a few care of quite a few number of veterans who have had service dogs. One of the very first veterans that I had ever taken care of with a service dog, I went to the home. I was doing wound care. The dog answered the door, opened the door for me, and led me to the veteran. So, it was interesting to see, and, he was teaching me about the dog and, how to handle someone's service dog when they do those things that we're not used to. And that was a great asset because the home health agency I had a great contract with the VA, and we did a lot of visits. So, I got to learn a lot about service dogs, and they are amazing. So, I just love animals. I do miss having a cat, but, we've decided at this point we want to wait until we get our own home, and some other things. So we are waiting on that. In the meantime, I keep hoping, that some strange cat will just follow me into the house, and it's mine. Now I have a couple of shout-outs. This couple, it is Bryan and Karen. Bryan is learning to crochet. Karen does crochet. Their name of their channel is Fiber Hearts. They're quite a character. When you go to watch, you'll have a lot of fun. They talk about a lot of things. They do show a few items, although Bryan hasn't shown his washcloths. Bryan, show your washcloth. He's working on making washcloths, and I had teased him about he needs to it's practice, practice, practice. Everything you learn when you're first starting, it's a lot of practice. Left hand, crocheting, practice, practice, practice. So, and then there is also Sheri, Spinning a Yarn with Sheri. Her channel is a mix. She had talked about how the channel was initially a D&D channel. Her and her partner play D&D quite a bit, but she also crochets, so she's doing a little bit of that. She, like Angela, has MS, and you can see some days she has better days than others. She's very open about it, and it's a nice channel. This last video that she did, she showed her, I think she calls them minis. I don't know that much about D&D. I'm not a gamer. My husband is the gamer in the family, so, I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff. But she showed off the ship and a lot of the little minis that they had created for their characters. So that was neat to see. You know, I love seeing a lot of different crafts. I hope you do too. The next one is Rowan's Impressions. This is a fairly new channel. Check them out. I love watching new people. And of course, now there are so many that I have a hard time catching up. The only good thing about that is, because I'm sitting here crocheting or knitting, I can watch YouTube instead of watching, the big boob tube. So I'm enjoying, watching a lot of the podcasters, catching up on them, those kind of things. I call them podcasts. Yes, I know podcasts traditionally were just oral, as in audio, but I think we've kind of moved into video podcasting, and that's why I, consider it a podcast, because it is video podcasting. A lot of people still call them vlogs, whatever. Anyway, that is it for today. I've pulled your ears long enough, so I'm going to let you go. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button down below. I think it's this side. And hit the bell so you'll get notifications when a new video or whatever goes up. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Suggestions, comments, whatever. And I will see you again next time. And in the meantime, remember, choose to be kind.